Now my life is not about my achievements. Though you can achieve, our achievements lead to something. All the work that we do leads to something, but the goal of it is our job status, educational status, financial status, even the seeming tasks that we do lead us not to build ourselves up or like I'm known for all the good I do. Now we cease from that. So when we do it, because we're still supposed to do it, but we're doing it as to honor God and to accomplish his mission. And so I'm not being viewed off of that. When you do all of these things, if you make good money, you're educated and you do a lot for people, it's easy to rest on your things. And you're like, that's great. But if we be honest, one, we're not perfect. When you start to rest on your works, you got to rest on all your works. And just as much as we do good, we still fall short. And so we could justify that I do more than someone else, but my righteousness is still like filthy rags. And so this invitation is not for us to rest on the good that we seemingly do, rather on what the good that God has done. And then we respond in goodness because of that. Think about the rich young ruler. He had resources. He said, I kept the law since I was a kid. Jesus said, well, go sell your stuff and then come follow me. And he's like, he walked away sad. He couldn't do it because, I mean, if you look at it, he kept the law, but his identity was still wrapped in the things he had. To sell his stuff is to essentially sell away who he is. And many of us still struggle because to be a disciple of Christ, I'm going to have to sell away who I am. It doesn't mean that we get lost and we become robots, but all that I think as accomplishment, like Paul said, if we're going to go with status, he's like, listen, I'm the Pharisee. I'm the one circumcised on the eighth day. Like he goes down his list. I'm the studied one. I've done this. I've done that. If anybody's going to boast, it would be me. But all of that is I count as dung or rubbish, trash, poo, in comparison to the knowledge of Christ. And so this is that balance of a disciple where you said, he's saying, listen, you can rest on who you are, or you can rest on who I am. And that's the invitation. Like ours will get us to a point, but let's be honest. That sounds good on our best days, but what on our worst days? On our worst days when we're not doing all the things, do we want to rest on those things then? Not at all. And so Jesus says, come to me, all who labor and are heavy laden, who are weary. I will give you rest. Sometimes we get weary in well-doing because we're still trying to do it. We're still trying to. I was like, the first invitation, as you follow, he invites us into rest. Cease from thinking that your actions, that your life is resting on your actions, that the actions of your children, of your parents, your cousin, your whoever in your life rest on your actions. Our actions do play a part. It does not mean that we become hands-off Christians, that we don't have to do nothing. The Lord's just going to work. He's going to make it happen. The Lord, sanctification is the Lord working through us. Okay? Working through us. And so with that picture, with the invitation to rest, I want to encourage you all with the promise today. Because as we hear this, okay, well, the Lord will do this. All right, I'm hearing this. He's inviting me to rest. What does that look like? And I want to go to something very familiar because before we get into task, because there's a call to discipleship that requires us doing some things different. And there's a change because it's a follow first. It's follow, change, reach, then repeat. We got to follow first. We got to know what it is to follow, to say, God, I trust you with my life. I will follow you. I will follow you. I will give up anyone who wants to keep his life will lose it. Anyone who's willing to give his life up for my sake. That we talked about that in Bible study. But that's not just giving up habits. It is those things. It's giving up things, but it's also giving up the desire and the need to be saved by your own works. Giving up the need to make it happen, feeling like it all rests on you. You have to give that up too. If you want to keep the life of I'm going to make it happen, if you want to keep the life of anxiety, he said, you don't have to. These are things that we're keeping. Like, I feel like we don't have to keep these things. And so These are ways that we have to let go of. Ooh, Selah, Selah, Selah. But the invitation, here's the invitation. The things that we get to lay down, we lay these things down. But Psalms 23, something that we probably all know and have heard several times, at different times of our life. I want to show you this. I want to give you this in a new lens, a little bit of a new lens. Excuse me. Couple things as we turn to Psalms 23. Actually, yeah. Jesus, we know, is our good shepherd. He's the good shepherd. He is the one who shepherds us. And we, who are like sheep, need a shepherd. The picture of Psalms 23, as David is recounting and showing this picture, this is mirrored in the invitation to rest. Matthew 11. Oh, we apologize if you might have some technical difficulties over here on Facebook. It's all right. We're still live here. That's all right. The invitation is to rest. The picture is resting because the Lord is our shepherd. And so I want you to hear this from this perspective, because these Matthew 11 and Psalms 23 able to parallel and run together, because David had an understanding of who his shepherd was. And he's speaking this as a shepherd. He uses the imagery of even shepherding to show us what it actually means to rest and to trust God. So that's my invitation this morning. Psalms 23 says, I'm going to read it and then I'm going to break this down. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. Amen. And so I love this passage. I love Psalms 23. I love it. I mean, it is one of those that we know and we've talked about, but amen. 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 Amen.